In a world full of distractions, there is one big question on every dog owner's lips.
How do I become more than just the person holding the other end of the leash?
We all get dogs with a dream in mind, a vision of the future. And if right now your everyday reality isn't quite that picture you had in mind, you are in the right place.
It really doesn't have to be this way.
You absolutely can and will be more to your dog than just the person who gets in between them and the world.
The key is you need to be more sexy.
More sexy than the neighbourhood cat.
More sexy than the jogger in the park.
More sexy than that half-eaten hamburger they just found on the floor.
And yes, even more sexy than the dog across the road.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Lauren.
Together we're Absolute Dogs.
And you're listening to the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast, the podcast that gives you real life dog training results. And today I am joined by the wonderful Sam Askew. She is literally an inspiration to dog trainers and pro dog trainers and anyone who loves dogs actually all over the world. Welcome, Sam. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm really good. Really good. Thank you. How are you?
Well, it's been a very busy day, and at the same time, you know what, at this time of night, you should be almost starting to wind down and think like you're tired. I'm not. I'm buzzed up because I'm doing this and it's what I love. So I'm excited to chat to you. And I think everyone's going to be really excited to hear from you, really, exactly what this is about and what you're about. So I'm going to give you a little chance to do a bit of an intro, Sam. What got you into the world of dog training? And how did you start out with Absolute Dogs? What was your sort of way in?
I started probably like a lot of people in Absolute Dogs for my own dogs. So I was going through some struggles. I didn't really know where to turn. My relationship with my dog was breaking down. And I was just searching for training that sat right with me. I'd gone through a few trainers that I really wasn't very happy with, and I didn't really like the methods. I felt like I wasn't being very nice to my dog. And so I just kept searching, and I came across Absolute Dogs online, and there was you were giving away DVDs if you just sent the postage in, and I watched it and I was hooked. And so then from then, I remember actually sending a really tearful email asking for help and saying, I really want to get into training academy, please let me, and not knowing how to do that because the doors were shut, and then the doors magically opened and I joined, and I've never looked back. And now I work at Devon Dogs and I'm living my dream, and I'm training people how to do exactly what Absolute Dogs helped me do. I love it.
I love that. I literally love it. And I'll be honest, Sam, from the minute I met you, your passion, your enthusiasm, your zest, your love for life, like literally your passion for dog training is pretty big, right? Like maybe tell everyone what you've been up to for the last few months, because you've been onto various different workshops, you've been to various different training sessions. Like how have you sort of, because you've done, you're not only training other people, but you're actually topping up your own learning all the time.
Yeah, I'm really lucky actually. So I train our one-to-ones for our stay and trains at Devon Dogs. All right. And as a precursor to that, I also get to shadow other trainers if I need to, so I can grow my learning in that way. Sometimes I get to attend the film days that we do there for Absolute Dogs. So the filming that we do for Absolute Dogs, I get to attend and watch and learn. I get to shadow, and I'm learning like agility. I'm learning to teach in different environments and different places. It's a pretty special place to be, really special place to be. And the optimism is immense. So for me, coming to a place like that every day to work, and learning and having the opportunity to learn in so many different disciplines, I guess, so many different areas. So one-to-ones, classes, agility, film days. It's really cool. Really cool.
I love, and this is one of my favorite things, like Tom and I were filming only the other day, and we had a cool group and we were filming tricks. And I love you're like peeking over, and you're always like, even if it's on your lunch break, you still want to be involved, and you've got such a lovely etiquette and professionalism about it. But actually, you can be involved at any point and you could be right in the crowd. And at the same time, you're always very polite and professional. And you always sort of sit to where you feel you should be. But for us, you're very, very welcome. And you're very, very welcome to be right in the middle of the group. Like, we literally love how professional you are, and we love what you do. So I suppose, what does a typical day look like for you as a super cool pro dog trainer now? Because yeah, you are at Absolute HQ, you're at the home of Devon Dogs, and you're at Bowerland. What does your day look like? Because I do, when you drive into the centre and you drive into your effectively work, which is crazy to consider it as work really, but you drive into your work, I can see that you're buzzing. I can see that your energy is up. I can see that when you get on your calls, or when you're doing Zooms, or whether you're doing your in-person sessions, you're buzzing, you're bouncing. Like, even on your calls, Matt's funny. We're looking out of a window recently, and he's like, literally, Sam's energy is insane. He's like, video that. That is what trainers and pro dog trainers and training academy students all over the world need to see. You're like dancing through the car park. You got the energy. You're literally loving life. So yeah, tell us what your typical day looks like. I know there's not a typical, but go on, tell us roughly what a typical day is.
So my main day consists of one-to-one training. So when people come for a stay and train, they get to stay in our cottages. So they come down for a holiday in Devon, and then they have a training package attached to that. So they get to do both. Nice holiday, and they get to train their dog. And for some people with naughty but nice dogs, them being able to come and do that and takes all the pressure off them staying in a cottage where maybe other people might not understand if they've got a naughty but nice dog. And the training that I do with them is helping them overcome any struggles that they've got. And the lovely part about it is that no day's the same. And I absolutely love that. It's fantastic. So where I might be training would be, I might go to their cottage and help them with like guests or guest visiting. I might go off site and we can work with the sheep and the ponies and the moo cows. We might work on our main site. So there'll be other dogs. Sometimes we have film days, which is like always insane. So no day's really the same. And then where I also do follow-up calls and pre-arrival calls. That's when you see me pacing in the car park, because I'm not really one that sits still very well. So I tend to just like to keep moving, and it just keeps me like in a really nice space, rather than sort of sitting down. And I think I just annoy people in the office. So it's better for me to get outside. But it's a lovely place to come and learn and come and stay. And for me, it's just an amazing place to work. I couldn't ask for more.
I love watching your days, because again, yeah, as a pro dog trainer, the variety between, sometimes you'll be working up near the stables. Sometimes, like you said, you might be in a cottage. Other times you might be in the field. Other times you might be in the entrance of the barn. Sometimes you might be saying to me, Lauren, turn your music down. You might be working on distractions. I know you've been in town, you've been on the moors, you've been in the car park, you've been at Simmons Park. Like, you really do get to live your best life, right? Like, you get to dictate your day and decide where you're going. And I think this is where I try and say to pro dog trainers, you can do whatever you want to do. And you, Sam, get to dictate your day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when we had those, way back when we had those really nice summery days, I remember sitting, I got my deck chair out of my car, which I always carry around in case a student needs it. And I sat out just looking at the beautiful view at Bowerland, doing calls, and it was just such a nice day. And I looked at that and thought, well, look where I am, look where I am. And there was an inkling of me that thought, am I allowed to do this? But actually, I've come to realize at Bowerland that you guys are really cool at just kind of letting us roll with it. And there's no kind of wrong way. There might be an adjustment, but there's no wrong way. And I think even teaching, I found that. So you let me really find my own groove, and being able to learn different ways and experiment with my own technique and stuff like that's been really, really cool.
And let's just chat about very quickly, because some people may know and some people may not. What background have you come from? Because it's probably very different. And for me, letting you roll and literally letting you find your groove. And I watched Michelle, one of our other trainers, and obviously people that are listening, Sexier and Squirrel, and everybody that's coming here, academy students and dog owners all over the world. The thing is, our trainers are pro dog trainers. So they've come through the Absolute Dogs program, and they are pro dog trainers. I'm watching Michelle teach a Zoom console call or class the other day, and she's rolling around the AstroTurf. She's literally sprawled out on the AstroTurf, having a lovely time. Like, I'm not making the rules. If she wants to sprawl out on the AstroTurf and she's happy, I'm happy. Like, that for me makes me happy to know that you guys have got your groove, and that's when you'll do your best job. But for me, where did this all come from? Like, because it's very different to your background.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a touch different. I was a weapons technician, so an aeronautical engineering technician in the Royal Air Force for 8 years, and I didn't really, I joined because I didn't really know what to do with myself, and that gave me some structure and a kind of like a direction and something to do that made me like boost my confidence. I got to travel, I got to do some amazing sports and some amazing things within that job, and it was a fantastic area. I would have been going to Hawaii this year had I stayed with them, but it was the Devon Dogs job coming up. Do you know, there was a moment, I don't think I've told you this actually. There was a moment when it first came up on Facebook. You advertised it, and you advertised in August. And at the time, my wife and I, we weren't in a position to be able to move and have a deposit for our house. And I cried in the bath because I was like, I really, really desperately wanted to apply for the job, and we just weren't in a position financially to do it. And so when it came around in, I think, September, so it was only like a month later, we were very lucky to have come into some money and be able to put a deposit down for a house. And I've got a very supportive wife. Basically, she was like, go for it, because life's too short, you know? And I had no idea what it was going to be like. I didn't think I was going to get it, but I was like, do you know what? I'm going to put my hat in the ring. I'm doing it.
You are outstanding. Your energy, your presence, your passion, your pro dog trainer like love, your Absolute Dogs learning and what you do, and then you were just like, Devon Dogs role is my job. You like literally, that is my job. Like, that is my calling. I'm meant to be here. I'm supposed to be doing another job, but I'm going to work my way out of this job. And I was like, I don't know how you're going to do it, Sam, but you know what? I'm going to support you. I'm going to support you. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know how you're going to work it, but you work it and I will support you.
Yeah, it was a touch and go at one point, because I actually didn't know if they were going to release me. So they very much could have said to me, no, you just can't do it. You've got to stay in, and you're on a contract. And so it was kind of like, I'm just gonna have to keep pushing. I was like, no, I need to go and do this job. And I'm very lucky to have come down. It was all a bit of a whirlwind. But now I'm here and I live in Devon. Well, actually, I technically live in Cornwall.
Where are you from?
Scotland. That's where I was based at the time. Beautiful area, really miss it. It's like a larger version of Cornwall and Devon. But yeah, it's pretty special to be down here and have the opportunity to learn and to train people and help them through their struggles. You know, there's something really special. When we get like people that come back, there's something really special where they come back and they're like, oh my God, I've had so many wins, and these struggles have completely transformed. And we get them come time and time again, you know, even though some people just come for fun now, you know.
I'm thinking of wonderful Charlotte, for example. So Charlotte, I don't know, she won't mind us using her as a case study. You might have seen Charlotte 3-4 times. I mean, we definitely at the centre have seen her a number of times. Maybe just give a couple of examples of some of her struggles and what she's overcome, because I think it really inspires other dog owners here at Absolute Dogs to hear about pro dog trainers and academy students and Sexier and Squirrel students really being able to overcome things that have been difficult. What sort of things has Charlotte struggled with her beautiful Dalmatian? Just this like over exuberance and excitement and arousal and like lunging, barking, like, so just generally being lack of disengagement, you know, and just basically struggling with life, really massively overwhelmed. Couldn't he? He definitely had that reaction to people and dogs, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Largely because he then quickly associated people with dogs, I think. So initially it started on dogs, and then it grew to dogs and people, and then it's people on its own or on their own. So yeah, he definitely, and he's a handful because he's a big Dalmatian. So
he is.
Charlotte, really lovely student, but actually a dog like that can be quite big. Now Charlotte has been a game changer in terms of how she's handled it all, but she's also been, and we've seen her multiple times. What sort of things would you work on with her, and how would you find yourself as a pro dog trainer overcoming her struggles?
I think the really nice thing about her is that if she's doing pro dog, and so I can really push the learning with her, because she's come to see us quite a few times, and yet every time she comes, she learns something new, you know, because we're always progressing our learning, and Absolute Dogs is always progressing learning and learning new things about like where the new science is going and that kind of thing, and experimenting with the training to see where we can take it. And my most recent lesson with her, we went up onto Prewley Moor, which is like just like a really open space moor quite near us. Often there's a lot of livestock there. And we really wanted to play around with pushing him with disengagement, and seeing if he could cope in that quite complex environment.
And anyone listening, do not think for a minute we get up there and we test our dogs on livestock. We do not.
No.
We get up there, we work with our dogs, we make sure their focus, engagement, and activity is completely right. And then we might put them under a little situation of, let's see what we've got. But don't think for a minute we get up there, we let them off the lead and we rock and roll, off we go. We literally, this is very, very structured stooge work, or very, very structured training. So just in case anyone was panicking.
Yeah.
I agree. I know, and I know Charlotte, that's been like some of her biggest wins that she's had, where you've been off site and she's support to be able to do that, and she feels more comfortable with the fact that you're both pro dog trainers together and you're working through and you're teasing it out and you're potentially pushing her a little bit more.
Yeah, I think helping her go out of her comfort zone a little bit, because I think sometimes we're too close to our own dogs, and so just helping her sort of see some maybe different ways, and almost being a soundboard with her to help her see some maybe different techniques that she might use that she's never used before. And we just wanted to see whether he could actually just focus on her, you know, in that, like you said, in that quite controlled environment, with a little bit of a backup of somebody that can look on the outside in when she's maybe a bit too focused on it. So that was really cool. We also played around with novelty with her. So we were putting, every time the dog got out, we were putting weird things out into the environment. So just like teddies, bring it, like put the chair out, and just seeing how he reacted with change. So it was really lovely for her to go away and have these like new things that she could try, just to kind of help him relax about the world a little bit, really. And just them to be this really great team together, which was nice. It's nice to see her. She's lovely with him as well. Really, really engaged together. They've become like a fantastic team together, you know.
I mean, really, what partnership. Like, they have grown immensely, haven't they, as a partnership?
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing I love most about her is that she is the fact that she keeps going back to learn more. You know, she wants to progress and see where she can take her training next.
She loves it. She loves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking about this because I've been out to Germany multiple times. I'm going up to a couple of places in the UK for some agility input. And I do think sometimes that passion just keeps us alive. Like, it keeps us getting out of bed early. I got back on, what day did I get back? Sunday night. And I'd had a really cool weekend. I'd won a big championship, and Blink had done really well. And that really charged my Monday. Like, quite a few people were like, what are you on today? And I'm like, it's a cool weekend, like competing with dogs and really great energy. And it's that, whether it's that someone giving you input, or someone coaching you, or someone teaching you, or whether it's having a really great lesson, or whether it's having a really great competition, or whatever it is, that is what charges us, isn't it? And that energy is really transferable, I think.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I love, not only being here as a trainer, but actually what I see and I hear from people when they come and stay with us, is just the energy here, you know. So some people genuinely come here because they get like a boost from it, and they get this optimism boost, and they go away feeling like inspired and almost like geared up and ready to continue forward when maybe they'd felt a bit of a dip, you know. I
know this may sound a bit woo-woo, but you know what, you guys all know me, I can be a little bit, I mean, literally, you know, I have got many crystals up there, like if you look carefully.
I like it.
I'm a little bit like that. But I remember having, I got someone to check this house out. I know that sounds crazy, but I did. I just wanted them to check the energies and certain things they check in houses, and it's a bit out there. But they said that this place has a really magic energy. And I truly believe it. I believe this place has a really wicked energy, like a really cool energy. And I do believe that the people here make it too, right? Like, we make it too as trainers. And so I suppose, coming back to you, Sam, what would you say is one of your superpowers as a game changer trainer and pro dog trainer? So what are some of your sort of superpowers? Like, when you're doing your thing, what are some of your superpowers?
I think can I choose two?
Oh, you can choose two, and I'll choose a third.
Okay. So I think my first one would be, I think emotional intelligence when it comes to people. So I can be quite good at reading when they're feeling down about something maybe that I need to hone in on, or when they're maybe under a bit of a stress and I need to relieve the pressure of them, and how to direct them and how to get connected to them, I think, I find that I do that quite well, I think.
Really good.
Thank you. And then I think the other one is just I'm just a bouncy bean, and I can see people's energy change just from my energy, which is always really nice. It's nice to let it out, because I have to be really cool around my dogs, because otherwise my energy affects them. But it's really nice it's me just being myself, but it's quite nice to be able to. I know that sounds really weird. That I think that my energy kind of affects other people's energy and makes them feel good about what they're doing. So I think that's my tip.
I literally would completely agree, and mine would sort of second that on the energy for sure. I think that I would have definitely said energy, and then the third one for me would be fun. You're really fun. So Eliza, those of you that know, we have Matt and I have a 10-year-old daughter. Eliza literally sees you and beams. She's like,
yeah. Oh, bless her.
Is the fun one, like you're like the fun, like you're where the party's at, and so you're really good at keeping things fun. And I think when you keep things fun, then the learning is just so much better, because anything you learn with a bit of a smile, then it's going to last a bit longer. So for me, you're very, very fun, and I think that's really important.
Thank you. I think life's serious enough already, right? Who needs to add more to it? My wife's always calling me a child, so it works.
Definitely super fun. So if you think about people that are here and training, and obviously you're training them as a pro dog trainer, what I suppose are your typical struggles that you might encounter with your students on a day-to-day basis? Because you're obviously working in person. It's very different working in person and seeing people. Like, what are the things that you might see that you're like, we need to tackle that? And sometimes I know they don't always see them either. So what sort of things do you see?
It's numerous, and it can really vary. So I've seen resource guarding, repetitive behaviors. I've had a dog that's like just chasing shadows and really like stuck on that. I've had a dog that chases airplanes in the sky. We had a dog recently that barks at the sun every time it comes out. We've had dogs that we want to help walk on lead nicer, so that people just want a nice walk, off-leash freedom, multi-dog households and how that dynamic changes things. We've had families with like babies and children, so we've worked on that dynamic and how can we help the dog be successful with the family. Guest struggles, so having guests around, going nuts at the door when people come around and knock, that kind of thing, postman. Car struggles, so I've had dogs that growl at people when they try and put them in the car, not liking their harness, not liking the head collars, not liking any equipment, complete overwhelm in an environment to the point where the dog's like just well in themselves. We have to bring them out of themselves, and complete overwhelm in the sense that they get so hyped up by everything that they're mouthing and pulling at the lead and pulling at jumpers. And we're quite careful about how we try and manage naughty but nice dogs, and any dog really, I think, in terms of giving them little breaks and making sure that we kind of keep them at a nice level so that they are getting the most success out of their training sessions. So even though some of our training sessions are, I had one the other day that was 5 hours, it was a 5-hour training session, and we mixed it between theory, we did some off-site work, we did some cottage work, and we had lots of little breaks. The dog had lots of little breaks in the car. So it really varies, I guess, is my answer. Like anything, literally anything. It could be absolutely anything. And it doesn't matter if it's seemingly massive. So someone might see something as really huge, and then someone might see it as, I think every person's struggle is their own struggle, So one person's struggle might seem bigger than another person's struggle, but I think for every single person, their struggle is their struggle, and so whatever it is that they're dealing with and they need help with, that's what we're here for. We sometimes get people just having for fun, which is really nice. And so they're literally just coming here for the boost and the optimism. But they want to tweak what they've already worked on, you know, so they've come a really long way, and they've got a dog that used to be really reactive and is no longer really reactive, but now they're like, okay, but now I want this. Now I want to try and fix this part. Not fix, that's the wrong word. Now I want to try and help my dog improve here and have a better life in this area, because this area is really cool now. So quite a lot of different ones.
I think that variety in itself is insane. Like, it is insane that you can go from, let's have a fun, lovely dog training session. I'm thinking of one of our super students. He's called Barry. He wants to be a super cool, fun session. That's what he wants. Yep. Whereas you might flip that, and you might actually have someone that's at the end of their tether and who is effectively ready to give up either on themselves or their dog. They're not actually sure. And we've seen both extremes, right? Barry, who just wants to have fun because he is living his best life, and someone who actually isn't living their best life and is pretty down at the moment. Like, we really have seen both, and we've seen both extremes.
Yeah, for sure. And not to say that I haven't had a few tears either from people as well. You know, I think sometimes when people come to us, we're really the last resort, and they no longer know what to do. People don't get a dog because they don't love dogs. You know, they get them because they love them and they want them to be a part of their family. And then things don't go quite how they thought maybe it would go, and it's difficult to adjust to that. And then not knowing how to help the dog through that, and to make life a little bit better for everybody involved, it can become disheartening and hard. And it can really bring you down emotionally, you know, like, I mean, talking on like a mental health level, I feel we're here to try and help people through that, you know, and that's what we love doing. So it's not just a case of, you know, this isn't a job. This is really not. This is like for us, it's a way of life, you know. We want to do this. We want to help people. And I've definitely had a few that have sort of come to me, and this is, you know, when I was saying about like the emotional intelligence, you can just feel it like vibrating off them, you know. You can feel that tension and that worry and those nerves.
Yeah. I think that leads really nicely just to my next question, which was, can any dog come? And actually, some people might be unsure about coming because their dog has actually been labeled as difficult, dangerous, untrainable, stupid, nasty, aggressive, and so many other things. Are people welcome?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely no struggle. And no, there's no such thing as no hope. Not here. It's not how we roll. Every dog has got hope. And we'd never ever give up on a dog, not ever. You know, if the owner wants to work with us, then we will absolutely work with them.
That is absolutely one of the, if you ever look at the manifesto, Absolute Dogs manifesto, it is no dog and relationship is ever lost, right? Like, yeah. And I love how definite you are about that. And that's when I started Naughty But Nice. This was actually way before Absolute Dogs. This was Naughty But Nice was a program that we ran as a training center, because I was so upset that Poppy and I felt Poppy was my aggressive, naughty but nice, reactive, difficult, whatever you want to name it, dog. And I just felt so unwelcome. I felt so not welcome in so many places. And I felt like I'd really let her down. And I felt like I'd made a really bad job of training her. And I felt like it was my fault. And I felt I limited her to having a really terrible life on lead, and couldn't have dog freedoms, and couldn't have dog mates, and couldn't enjoy what other dogs would enjoy. And I felt, on top of that, if I ever went to a friend's house or if I ever went anywhere, I was embarrassed by her behavior, because she would every now and again just decide to like squish a dog, and in a way was like, I shall sit on you, and then make a horrible noise. And so she was a dog I was in love with and really hated at the same time. And I felt so like I had to walk at midnight, and like I had to go to places I wouldn't see anyone, and like I had to avoid people and dogs, because she very quickly started barking at everything and not just dogs. And I just felt embarrassed, Sam. I felt really embarrassed. This was like 15 years ago, but I felt really embarrassed.
And I think it's really sad that stuff like that, people still feel like that, you know. And so just like Absolute Dogs, we want to spread that hope, I guess, is what I'd say there. And a lot of the trainers have been there as well. You know, I've been there. That's how I got into it. And I know a lot of our other trainers, I think pretty much all of them really, we've all been there, you know, and then we've all come across Absolute Dogs, and it's changed our lives. And that's why we've got such a passion for what we do here, because we genuinely just want to help people achieve that themselves. And I think that there shouldn't be any judgment on that. And if it's almost a taboo to say like, oh, I've got a badly behaved dog, like it's not, it's, you know, it's really normal dog behavior, and we just need to help them and direct them a little bit. it's just a little bit of tweaking. And that's the wonderful thing about concept training, right? Because like we could hit a few concepts and it's hitting multiple areas within their struggle life.
Explain that for people that are listening, because they're like, you might want to talk about proximity, but I don't understand what that's got to do with dog training. Like, what does that have to do with?
So I always think of it, and I explain it to my students as like life skills, so do they have some just basic understanding of how to navigate life? All right. So for example, disengagement would be just the simple understanding that there's value in bringing your brain away from something. And the analogy I always give here is, when you hear a noise in your house, you've got to go and look, right? Even though it's potentially dangerous situation, you can't help yourself. Yeah. And so I always say that how hard it is for us to disengage our brain. We wouldn't be able to just ignore it. We wouldn't be able to just let it go. The anticipation of that is worse than the event itself.
I've got very quickly, something I'm struggling with disengagement right now. I'm thinking about the chocolate in the barn.
I knew you were going to say that. Have you given out your leaflets yet?
I owe 4.
Oh, they're stacking up. They are stacking up hard. You're going to be out in the streets giving them out.
Carry on anyway. Your example is way better, but I'm telling you.
There's lots of things. I bet we could all relate to different areas of that though, where we can't like bring our brain away from something. Sure. But our dogs are the same. It's almost like a compulsion. So we're trying to help them grow that skill for the situation, so that if they're ever in that situation where that event's maybe much larger, they're better able to cope and just get through life. And disengagement for me, it hits so many different areas. So it's like separation struggles, it's disengagement from dogs, from cats, from chasing things, from guests, from the food on the counter. It hits so many different areas, right? So just working on that one concept and growing that skill with the fun of games then helps us hit and target all of these areas in a wanna, which sometimes can feel overwhelming if we look at like all of them in a wanna, where we've got maybe 5 struggles on the go. But actually it's just 3 concepts that we need to hit. So it's really cool. And that's really nice to see people that come to us that are really new with our way of training, with Absolute Dogs and with Devon Dogs and games-based concept training. It's really lovely to see them realize that actually it's probably the most efficient way I've ever found, like in terms of training.
Yes.
It's so cool. We're so busy, I don't have time to do hours and hours and hours of training. I just don't. I've got very busy life. We've got work. People have got kids.
It's a really nice way of describing it. It's very efficient. It's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's very smart. So how about thinking smart here? I've got multiple dogs, Sam. I have multiple dogs. And if I've got multiple dogs, can I train multiple dogs? And actually, if we think about it as a pro dog trainer, and this is pro dog trainers that are listening as well, because there'll be pro dog trainers listening, can people bring multiple dogs to a training session? And is that a good deal or is that a bad deal? Because I always know I want to bring multiple dogs. I don't want to just come with one. I want to come with 3 or 4. Like, I want to bring multiple dogs.
We want you to, because that's the reality of your life, isn't it? So we want you to bring what you've got. Same as families are welcome. Yeah. So I've had a family with 3 very large dogs and a baby, brand new baby that was like breastfeeding, I know, really cute baby as well. I had a whole family recently that took out 2 of our cottages in Awana. And so she brought her boys with her and her husband and their 2 dogs. And that was a really cool dynamic to play around with. And sometimes the kids come along and they get involved, which we're absolutely fine with. And we're more than happy to help them because they're a part of their dogs' lives. They're a part of this dynamic. And we need to look at how we can help you function in that dynamic, and
it's incorporated. Because as a pro dog trainer, and I think this is just a quick tip for pro dog trainers, as a pro dog trainer, I think you should always include multi-dog households and you should always include families. Just like you said, it's a family dynamic we're considering. But also, if you consider multi-dogs, for example, I'm a trainer, I take my dogs to train in Germany sometimes or other places. If they said I could only bring 1, it would limit their possibility of getting me over there. Because I'm way less likely to go if I can only take 1, because I feel like I've got 5 that need training. So actually, if I take 1, I feel like I'm not getting good bang for my buck. I feel like I'm getting value for money. I feel like actually I should be able to bring all 5 of them. It doesn't mean they can all 5 train at once necessarily, but all 5 of them will get a turn. And I think that's really important. I think that's really important from a value point of view, that if you're a pro dog trainer, training multi-dogs is good value for the client.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we really like to mix it up as well. So we'll do a mix of where they come out individually, and then in sort of like a controlled way, will help them realize how they can work both, and how that looks as well. Like maybe in the cottage, for example, in the house, how do you work one dog whilst the other dog's there without them getting, in each other's way, and there's food involved, and it can sometimes be a bit manic and people don't know how to come at that. So that's really cool. That's like it changes the way that we have to train a little bit, but it's fun. It's really, really cool.
I've got a fun question for you.
Yeah, What's go for it.
This place you've ever trained?
The biggest?
Weirdest.
Weirdest. Oh, Waitrose car park was a bit weird.
And yeah, Waitrose car park's a weird one. I'm going to give you one of mine, and then you might have another one, but you might not. One of my weirdest, and this really was a weirdest, I trained under the A-frame once when it was torrential rain and I was a new trainer in a field. Went under the A-frame and we came up with a lesson plan under there whilst it was hailing and hammering it down. We did not have anywhere else to hide. That was one weird place. The second weird place we hid under trees. That was weird. And the third weird place we hid in a container. I've trained in some weird places, but I've probably been a dog trainer quite a long time. So I'm just putting it out there. I was just telling you.
We had the container here for a little while, so that one was a little bit odd. I remember actually one of our lovely students, well, two of them actually, technically they're together, Sue and Sarah. They came down for their first holiday, so they've had like classes with us and one-to-ones with us. They live locally for a long time, and then they decided to have a holiday with us, even though they're within driving distance, which I love. I think it was really fantastic. It was really cool, and they really loved it as well. Like they had such a cool time. But it was really hot, really hot on one of the days, and so we parked our car strategically and we draped one of the car covers across, so we created our own little shelter. It was really cool. We were like solution seekers.
You've had picnics as well, so here's to the solution seekers. Love it. And how about I suppose people that are worried about the methods of training that Absolute Dogs or Pro Dog trainers might use? What sort of methods do we use on the whole? Positive reinforcement, really, but I think a step further than that, so we're really honing in on having fun with our dogs to create that learning. All right. And I always think of kids when I think of this as well. So my wife she used to be in childcare. And she always said whenever I was talking to her about dog training, I really talk her ear off about it all the time. She was saying that actually it's really closely linked. She can see like a lot of crossovers with how we teach children to learn through play and through fun. That's how we're teaching our dogs. And that always sat with me. I always remember that, and I remember we had a guy, funny enough, actually, he was ex-military, and we ended up connecting over that a little bit. And he said to me, I thought it was going to be all airy-fairy. And actually you seem pretty normal. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he's gone away and really got into the training now, which is really nice. I love it. No, I really love it. I suppose, God, not dissimilar really to Debbie, who was here from abroad just very, very recently.
Oh, lovely Debbie.
Wasn't she super? Where was Debbie from again? Florida.
How crazy is that? Like so far.
Insane. So Debbie, as a Pro Dog trainer and as an academy student, as a Sexier and Squirrel follower, decided to go on her pilgrimage to Devon and come to the home and the heart of what we do. And she was pretty incredible, wasn't she?
She was amazing.
But thinking about her, I mean, she came without her dog, right? Like, as a trainer, how do you deal with that if you've got someone who's here without a dog? Like, is there enough to do?
We've got dogs to borrow. So if you haven't got a dog, you can, talk to our office, we'll work something out. So, solution seekers, that's what we are here. And we will figure something out for you, and we'll give you a bespoke package, basically. So she did a bit of everything. She did some film days with you guys. She did some shadow a trainer.
Tom and I loved having her because she literally was a laugh. She was a blast. She came on Poodle Day with Tom's Poodles. She was on Sighthound Day, even though she didn't Sighthound days, and she had a laugh on the Tricks days. She really was incredible. She was incredible.
She was amazing. And I think she went on some of our life skills classes as well. So like our, weekly classes. And she shadowed Michelle as a trainer as well. Yeah, it was really cool.
She shadowed quite a bit, didn't she? She watched quite a lot. And And I think there is a lot to take from shadowing. What do you learn when you shadow?
I shadowed recently on one of our agility holidays. I shadowed Michelle teaching it, and it was so I don't work a dog in it. This is literally for me to learn about how to teach it. And it's just picking up different styles, because we've all got different styles in how we teach, and different little different ways that another trainer might look at something. Maybe that I haven't thought about, and it's just a different perspective, I guess. And I love it. I think I've shadowed you on a film day at some point as well. No, was it a film day? It was like an agility film day, I'm pretty sure.
And you're so welcome to shadow at any point, Sam. I think that shadowing, it's great to grow. It's great to learn. It's great to see stylistic features. It's great to observe students. It's great to take the pressure off. It's great to get all of the learning without having the pressure of a dog around. It's fantastic to keep you motivated and to keep you inspired. I think it really does keep you inspired. So I think if I was to give any pro dog trainers any advice, I think shadowing people is really, really useful, and having an opportunity to shadow in person, I think, is even better. So when you get that opportunity, obviously who you shadow and what you shadow counts, but I think on the whole, shadowing is really powerful stuff.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think I'll ever stop. Do you know what I mean? I think if I had 20 years experience, I think I'd still be wanting to shadow, because there's always something new to learn. And I think that I just think there's a lot to take away there, and you should never really try and stop progressing. That I think that's one of the reasons I love being at Devon Dogs, actually. There's always this really infused ethos about learning, and you kind of it's really encouraged, and you don't always get that in some places, so it's really nice. And I think that we offer our shadow a trainer program, so the pro dog trainers out there that are maybe thinking about doing what we do at Devon Dogs and teaching and helping people with their struggles with their dogs, they can always come, and they can always shadow us teaching. And we've also got some really cool stuff coming up with like special events where we're literally guiding them through teaching, and they're getting a chance to kind of experience that firsthand. So not just shadowing, but actually teaching under our guidance. And I think that's something that there's probably not many places that are able to offer that. And I think it's a really special thing where Absolute Dogs has created this huge community out and about, out in the whole world. And Devon Dogs is like the center hub of it all, where we kind of bring it all together and help everybody continue that way of teaching and that way of learning. It's just this really lovely community about it, that community feel about it, whether you're a pro dog trainer or you're brand new to it, or you want to learn how to teach, or you're coming for your own dog struggle. Everybody's there for you. Everybody's kind of nice. I don't know any other way of putting it, but it's just a really lovely feel about the place.
Yeah, supportive network of people who want to, because for some people it can be very daunting. You've done something and you've learned something, but actually to really do it and go and practice it, something else. So what an opportunity to be able to come out and practice and teach someone under the support and guidance of a mentor. Effectively, that's what we do. So I suppose my last question for you is, because there are so many we could ask, but my last question for you is, what are you always hoping to achieve when you work with someone as a pro dog trainer? What are your hopes and your aspirations when you're working with someone? Because I know you're really passionate, you're great at goal setting, and I know you really care. And I think that makes a massive difference, Sam. What are your thoughts?
There's a few kind of ticks that I want to try and achieve in my head. All right. And the first one is I want them to go away with hope. So that's really important to me. I want them to go away and feel inspired and empowered. Uplifted. Uplifted. That's a great word for it. Really great word for it. I want them to go away and feel like they can do this. They can succeed at this, even if they felt previously that they couldn't.
Yes.
And I also want them to go away knowing how they're going to apply it. So we give them a plan at the end. All right. So we give them concepts and games with those concepts to move forward with, that they would concentrate on for a little while. And then we have a post-training call later down the line as an extra little bit of support to talk through how it's going now that they're home. So for me, I want them to go away knowing exactly kind of what direction they're going in with this plan and how they're going to implement it. So we really talk through that. That's kind of that's my two main ticks. I want them to go away clear, I guess, clear on how they're going to make these changes, and be really uplifted about it and excited.
So nice. So clarity and enthused. So they leave with a renewed sense of they're ready to take it on. Yeah,
and I also want them, I'm going to add a third. I want them to, I'm going with it. I want them to know that we're still here for them as well. So, if they implement this, sometimes, they maybe come across some pitfalls when they try and put it into real life. I want them to know that we're still here, and that we want them back. And just because they've been once doesn't mean they can't come again. And that we're still here for support, and that we're their like support network, basically. That would be my third.
Yeah, no, I mean, to feel supported and to feel someone's got your back and to feel someone's able to help take care of your journey, I think is a huge relief off a lot of people's shoulders. And I know with Poppy, I searched it and I searched it and I searched it and I searched it a bit more and I still couldn't find it. And I know the comfort that would have given me, to feel like I had a team. When you're feeling a bit alone and you're feeling a little bit anxious about where it's going, I think what a gift to give someone, the fact that they've got backup, they've got support, they've got someone who says they care and who says that they can help you through this, and really we know they can. So for me, that's worth everything. It's worth absolutely everything. It's very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both Absolute Dogs and Devon Dogs, I think, capture the community support side of that really, really well. In a way that we've got like a special student hub Facebook group for Devon Dogs as well, and then a lot of our students are in training academy, so they've got both support units. I think that's special, really special.
Yeah, really well supported. And I think Sam, to chat to you on this, and you being a pro dog trainer and you having this amazing journey, for one, incredible. I think people listening are going to be inspired, uplifted. They're going to feel your sense of energy and they're going to feel your journey, because I think your journey is a really, really special one, and keep telling it, because it, I think, inspires other people to be hopeful that their dream may also come true one day, and the opportunity that they were hoping for might just be theirs, and somehow it might just all magically work, which actually really all fell into place, right?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big believer of like the universe opens doors for us, and it's our choice whether we go through them. And there's always an element of risk, but I think sometimes it's worth it. In fact, this was definitely working. There was no question about this one. Absolutely worth it.
Like, I honestly could not be more grateful and more proud to have you on our team. I'm really beaming. I'm still trying to work you into a workout session. One day you're going to do it. One comes in every morning when I'm still doing some sort of fitness training or something that keeps me allowed to do agility at a decent level, I feel. And so I'm always trying to get Sam. One day she's going to surprise me and just turn up in a fitness gear and join in. But
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then you'll see how unfit I am. You think I'm really fit in the military. I'm really not. I'm not.
You're going to show me up, I can tell you now.
I'll definitely beat you at a race. That's all I'll say.
You wait. Tomorrow night we are on. So thank you, Sam. It's been incredible. I know that so many listeners are going to be inspired, excited, and I think enthused about what they could do to change and to change the trajectory, to change it for themselves, maybe as a pro dog trainer, or maybe for them and their dog, and to change the direction they're going in, or to add something in, or to take something out, or really just to follow their dreams in the direction they're going,
whatever that dream might be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. It's been absolutely incredible. So
thank you.
That was You Are So Welcome. That was this episode of the Sexier and the Squirrel podcast. Literally, we have so much more coming for you. Make sure you join us next week, and join me in thanking Sam for being part of this. Most of all, remember,
stay sexy.
She's got it. She's got it. We've trained her. It's sexy. I like it.
Stop right there, Game Changer. We have something very exciting to tell you about if you struggle with stressful walks right now.
So pulling your dog, yanking your arm out of its socket, just basically it's painful, right?
Now, it's a struggle that you want to transform. You want to go from pulling on lead like a train to loose leash walking prince or princess, and we've got a solution for you.
It is just £27. It's a mini course that literally is going to be your zero to hero of loose leash walking.
Day by day, we're going to be showing you the games and skills and strategies that you are going to need to implement to transform your dog's leash behavior in the next 2 weeks.
This is a complete package. You get to keep it for life, yes, for life, and it's just £27 to you.
Access it anywhere, keep it for life, no equipment required, and all you've got to do is go to absolutedogs.me/stop pulling. And yes, it is just £27, Game Changers.